So let's talk about a reflex action. Now, a reflex action is what keeps us alive. Last thing we want to do is we see a ball coming towards us and we just standing there and just let the ball hit us on the face. Or, for example, we touch a hot object. We're like, oh, that's my hand burning on the stove. That's really interesting. What you want to do is move your hand quickly. You want to do things without thinking, a reflex action that will keep you alive. But it's not only just moving about, it's also with our eye. As you remember before, your pupil either opens up to allow more light to go in. So if I'm in a dark room, I want more light to go in. If I go step into a bright room, I don't want my eyes to get oversaturated with light because it could damage the receptors, the light receptors on my retina, the back of my eye. So I want to shut my eye. I want to shut my pupil for it to go smaller. So what we're going to go through is something known as a reflex arc. So the first thing happens is the stimulus. Now, the stimulus is what actually causes us to do a certain type of reaction. It could be heat, it could be pressure, it could be light. And this gets picked up by the receptor. Now, once it gets to the receptor, an electrical signal needs to be sent. And that electrical signal passes through something known as a neuron. But it's not any type of neuron. There's 3 neurons that you need to know about. And the first neuron is your sensory neuron. The sensory neuron sounds like you sense it. So that is your sensory neuron. You're sensing the stimuli. It could be light, it could be temperature, but it's going to be an electrical signal that passes through the sensory neuron. Then after it gets to the sensory neuron, it's going to go through something what we call a relay neuron. Now, what this relay neuron is doing is taking the information from the sensory neuron and then giving that information to the brain, or it could be the spinal cord. If it's a reflex action, it's going to be the spinal cord. And then it's processing this information. So your spinal cord is processing the information. So your relay neuron is just taking the information from the sensory neuron, going to the spinal cord. The spinal cord processes that information very quickly, unlike the brain, which takes a bit more time. And then it connects it to another type of neuron. And that is known as the motor neuron. So once the brain or the spinal cord decides on a course of action, that they send an electrical signal that has to travel through the motor neuron. Now, the motor neuron is going to be connected to either a muscle or a type of organ, a type of gland that will maybe make a hormonal response. So increase maybe adrenaline, increase insulin, or decrease it even. It could even be sweating. So a motor neuron is going to make something actually happen. It can make the muscles contract. It can make a gland release hormones or sweat or so forth. Now, there's different types of reflexes. You've got the knee jerk, where if you've seen it before, a doctor hits the knee and it's like, that's a simple one. Or a more complex reflex, which is, for example, moving your hand from a hot object. Now, reflexes have to happen really quickly. You do not want to spend time with your hand on the stove. So they can occur in a fraction of a second. Now, your reaction time does slow down as you get older. Now, your spinal cord is what does this, but your brain is kept in the loop. So your brain also reacts to the actual reflex reaction. So if you move away from a punch, your brain is like, wait, why did I move away? Oh, somebody's trying to punch me. So your brain is also part of this, but your brain is going to process it a little bit differently. For free live lessons and free worksheets, please click the link below. Each lesson comes with a worksheet to do, thousands of exam questions split by topics with video help, math, sciences, and many other subjects.